Hey everyone, Duke here, and today we're going over how to farm all of the endgame materials you're going to need in the coming months for the final shape and beyond. Let's start with Glimmer farming. The Glimmer cap was just increased to 500k, which is going to be quite beneficial as there's quite a few ways to go through our current storages quickly. Heroic public events give huge amounts of Glimmer on completion, with 12,500 Glimmer coming from the chest completion reward at the end. Pair this with the Glimmer you'll get just from defeating enemies during the public event for extremely quick farming. Not only that, but our Ghost has a set of Glimmer mods which allows for up to a 65% increase to Glimmer that you receive from everywhere, which can be a huge boon to quickly recoup Glimmer after use. Rahul in the Tower also has multiple ways to directly buy Glimmer from, assuming you have the extra materials to do so. Excess Legendary Shards, Dark Fragments, Phantasmal Fragments, and Here Always pieces can be spent here to acquire instant Glimmer. Speaking of Legendary Shards, these will be getting completely removed when the final shape launches, so using them in the coming months is going to be to your benefit. If you have a lot of extra Legendary Shards and you'd like a way to use them up on something that can benefit you going into the future, you can buy Phantasmal Fragments from the Lectern of Enchantment on the Moon for 10 Legendary Shards each. This will allow you to get around the Glimmer cap easily, because as we just mentioned, Phantasmal Fragments are one of the ways to buy Glimmer directly from Rahul, and should still exist once Legendary Shards are completely phased out. Additionally, there is a bug or maybe feature with Banshee where he can sometimes sell a weapon that has a higher masterwork value, which you can see in something like Destiny Item Manager, and buying these and dismantling them will always give an enhancement core. This has a random chance of happening whenever he resets his inventory and is not guaranteed, and this is only really helpful for those who have a lot of extra Legendary Shards lying around, but definitely check it out and try to take advantage of it when you can if you have shards and want to get some value out of them. Next, let's talk about Spoils of Conquest. These are material that is only acquirable in raids and allows you to purchase extra raid gear after defeating the final boss in every raid, other than Garden of Salvation, which does not yet have this chest, hopefully in the future. And also note that the chest for Last Wish is actually at Hawthorne in the Tower and requires picking up the Last Wish quest and doing the entire raid each week to use. Other than these two outliers, this chest can be used at any time after defeating just the final boss of the raid, with each weapon costing 20 spoils each. For any raid that has a master version, you can complete the master version of the final boss to buy the adept versions of these weapons for 25 spoils each. Do note that in all cases, you will need to have acquired the drop at least once as a random drop in order to purchase it from the spoils chests. The only way to farm unlimited Spoils of Conquest is to run the newest raid, which for the next few months is Crota's End. Your first run on a character each week will give 5 spoils from each of the secret chests, but if you run any encounter from Crota's End more than once on the same character during the same week, you'll get an additional 5 spoils every single time you complete it. Therefore, the absolute best way to farm a lot of spoils is to spam run Air Ute through a checkpoint. There are a few very easy ways to get some spoils each week as a solo player too, though. The first way is in the Vow of the Disciple raid. All you're going to need to do is load into the raid, kill the big Sabathun guarding the door, and progress forward until you reach the boat. This will then spawn in a bunch more adds, and you're going to want to kill the 3 abominations that spawn in so that you can traverse this entire section with no pervading darkness stacking, as the pervading darkness no longer stacks once all 3 abominations are dead. Do not pick up or deposit the knowledge stacks that will be around you here, as depositing all of these is what progresses the encounter normally, but also ends up spawning more adds and abominations which you don't want. Instead, progress forward by yourself and shoot each of the 3 hidden pyramid nodes along the path as I've been showing on screen. After shooting the final node, continue forward as a hidden room with a chest will now be open, allowing you to get 5 spoils and a raid drop. You can do this on each character each week for 15 spoils a week. Crota's End is our other weekly spoils farm. Note that you will either need a second person or a checkpoint for the first encounter to get here, but all you need to do is follow the wall on the left side, turn left once the left side opens up, and head directly straight for the chest from here. I'd recommend some sort of movement tech as well here, as you do need to reach this door in 60 seconds from the start, and this will allow you to get an additional 15 spoils a week total across your 3 characters. Next, let's talk about Enhancement Cores. These are used in the crafting and leveling up of weapons, masterworking armor, upgrading gear, and more. Enhancement Cores can be earned in a multitude of ways, such as, but not limited to, deleting legendary gear, Gunsmith bounties, Hawthorne's weekly Clan XP challenge, and Legend and Master Lost sectors. There's also a ghost mod that allows you to get more enhancement cores from completing ritual activities, which are Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible, called Core Harvest. Additionally, you can buy a limited number of enhancement cores each week from Rahul if you have excess enhancement prisms. And past just those, you can also use the blue armor trick that I've talked about for a long time, where you buy some of the blue leveling armor in collections, upgrade it 3 times using 3 enhancement cores and a prism, and then dismantle it, allowing you to basically turn 1 enhancement prism into 3 extra enhancement cores. Masterworking both your armor and weapons allows you to get some bonus stats along the way, with armor masterworking specifically giving you more energy capacity, which allows you to slot more and higher cost armor mods onto your armor. Enhancement Cores more recently also received the added benefit of being able to instantly level up your crafted weapons, which allows for you to immediately put the rolls you're looking for on any crafted weapons without having to use it in activities or farm something like Shiro Chi for a while. Some of the shortest and easiest lost sectors, which includes many of the EDZ lost sectors, are great to farm for both enhancement cores and prisms, while also giving you some exotic chances in only a couple minutes per run. I wouldn't recommend running some of the longest lost sectors, like those situated in Neomuna, as you'll get much less bang for your buck. This season, our new main activity, the Coil, is also a great way to get not only some enhancement cores, but also some of the other endgame materials that we will be talking about next. Enhancement Prisms and Ascendant Shards are 2 more materials that are going to be needed in order to masterwork your armor all the way to a max of 10, which again allows you to use more mods, as well as get extra stats when you do fully masterwork the armor all the way to 10 energy. Enhancement Prisms can be acquired from multiple sources, with Nightfalls, especially higher level Nightfalls, the Coil, and Legend and Master Lost sectors being some of the best options. Enhancement Prisms can also be bought from the Gunsmith for 10 enhancement cores and 10,000 Glimmer, with a few on sale each week for a lower price of only 2,500 Glimmer instead. There are also a number of cores and prisms that can be earned through ranking up from various vendors in the game, and just like with cores, there is also a ghost mod that can be equipped to earn more enhancement prisms from completing ritual activities called Prism Harvest. You can hold a maximum of 100 total enhancement prisms in your inventory, but can use the blue armor trick mentioned earlier to turn excess into enhancement cores as they have no limit, or use some to upgrade them into our next material, Ascendant Shards. Just like with enhancement prisms, the best way to go about getting Ascendant Shards is going to be in high-level Nightfalls, with Master and Grandmaster Nightfalls being the best options. Running Nightfalls during double loot week is something to look out for when wanting to farm all of these endgame materials, along with more chances at exotic armor and the weekly Nightfall-specific weapon. Getting to the final floors of the Coil, and especially getting Platinum and opening the extra chests, is another outstanding way to get Ascendant Shards and a much appreciated addition for solo players this season. Going flawless in Trials and opening the Lighthouse chest is another way to get a direct Ascendant Shard as a drop. The Season Pass also has a couple of Ascendant Shards scattered throughout, and various vendors have one that you can get each season for getting a full rank reset. And finally, Rahul also sells Ascendant Shards at a price of 10 Enhancement Prisms and 50,000 Glimmer, with a sale price of 10,000 Glimmer for a few each week. The Ascendant Shard cap was recently increased to 30, but excess will no longer go to your Postmaster. You can get around this cap slightly if you're interested by masterworking extra exotic armor to put in your vault, as then dismantling it later will give you a shard back. Our final endgame material to talk about is Ascendant Alloys. These alloys are used to craft stronger, enhanced versions of perks on craftable weapons in the Enclave. Previous to this season, these were exceedingly rare and only were farmable in a few specific activities that didn't really have much benefit outside of farming specifically these, such as Master Wellspring and the weekly campaign mission playlists. However, there were 3 huge buffs this season for Ascendant Alloys. First, these also drop in the Coil at a very similar rate to Ascendant Shards. Make sure to hit Platinum score by breaking pots and killing the Glass Collector, and you'll be getting alloys every run of Coil that you do. Additionally, you used to be able to buy only 1 alloy a week from Rahul for Legendary Shards, but you can now buy an unlimited amount of alloys whenever you'd like for the same price as Ascendant Shards, that being 10 Enhancement Prisms and some Glimmer, with your first few a week costing less Glimmer. And finally, in a very recent update, Ascendant Alloys were added as a new weekly reward to the competitive playlist. Upon completing the weekly challenge for this seasonal weapon, a second challenge unlocks, offering a Ascendant Alloy as a reward for completing 3 additional matches. And additionally, your first challenge of the season, which is completing these 7 placement matches, will also reward an Ascendant Alloy. I'm not much of a Crucible player myself, but this is a very nice addition, along with the Rahul changes, to make sure that all types of players are able to much more easily craft the enhanced perks of their choosing on significantly more weapons than before. And that's all for today. I hope this guide on farming all of the endgame materials in Destiny 2 was helpful, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.